Yeah, I'm really proud of myself and super happy. I mean, even though this tournament looked like it maybe the scores were maybe I had everything under control, it wasn't from the beginning till the end so easy. So I'm happy that I could improve during the tournament, and I felt really good on last two matches. Played with a big amount of confidence, so I'm really proud of myself.
Iga, what does winning this title actually mean to you? Because I don't think I can remember seeing you so excited about a victory for a long time. Does it have some specific significance? What was it?
Um, Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm usually excited when I win tournaments. Sometimes, okay, there's maybe a little bit more of the relief than just pure happiness. But right now, I just feel like I've done really good work, and maybe because of that, because I just know, that it hasn't been easy after Australia, and I've been working hard to play well and to handle everything mentally well. So I'm just proud of myself, maybe because of that.
Can I just follow up? Do you feel that this is a title that could be significant for the rest of the year for you?
I don't think, in terms like that, because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. For sure, 2 years ago, it felt like that because I actually believed that I can win titles on hard courts after winning Indian Wells and then Miami. But I mean, I already kind of know that. So this time is just, I'm super happy with the work, and I know what's going to happen in the future, but for sure I'll work hard to play on this kind of level.
Hey, congratulations. You're always talking about the importance of focusing on the process rather than the results. Why do you think that's so hard and such a challenge?
Well,
As I'm sure it is for you at times, and certainly for so many other players.
Because you can't, control your thoughts. Usually, they will come. The question is, how are you going to handle them and what are you going to do with them? But usually, when you don't want to think about something, it's going to start popping in your head anyway, and it's not easy to control that. So I think that's why.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You said it was more challenging than it looked, and according to the score lines, your run at this tournament. So, what were the challenges that you faced, and how were you able to overcome them?
Well, I would say, at the beginning of the tournament, I felt like, again, I didn't have much luck with the draw. I played, opponents that sometimes I, struggled with. I lost against Linda in Australia this year. Then I was pretty stressed actually, before facing Caroline Wozniacki because I felt like we haven't played in a while. I didn't really know how her game feels on my racket, and I just have huge respect for her. So this was, the time, this kind of match where I had to kind of work through the stress. But then it felt after that, I just felt like I could actually, play my game more freely, and that's what I meant.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you won this tournament 2 years ago, and then Ashbarty announced her retirement, and you are elevated to number one. And since then, you have been number one, except for just a couple of weeks. So if you look back on these 2 years, what is the thing that you are most proud of? And do you recall a little bit about the time that you became a number one 2 years ago?
Oh, well, I remember everything, honestly. It was pretty crazy, but I'm pretty proud of the way I adapted to all these challenges that I had to face. First becoming world number one, then, actually feeling comfortable with it and using it on court, then, being a target of many players that wanted to beat particularly me, then, starting next season as world number one. So I'm really proud of how I handled everything. It's not like it just happens and then it's done. You have many things, that you have to face during one season. So yeah, I'm just pretty proud.
Iga, congratulations. I just spoke a lot about your Serbian emotion in the last few days also. I felt that today probably you went for it with the first serve, especially when the score was 3-all or 4-all. How would you rate that part of the game, and if you really trusted it, if you felt more comfortable match after match here?
Yes, for sure. I felt more comfortable match after match. It wasn't, like only about the serve. It was overall, how I felt. But regarding the serve, actually, somebody from my team told me about this moment of the match, but I don't really remember now. But I think I had this. When I like what served good first serves.
For example, on 4-all, you were 15-all, and you hit 3 on return on the first serve, especially with the knees on the team.
Remember that there were also new balls, so so it may be also about that. But I'm always kind of focusing on my serve. I feel like it's one of the. I was this kind of player that just pushed the ball into the court to start the rally or something, but now I feel like I can do more with my serve, so I'm trying to make proper decisions, and I guess I made the good ones today.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
So you got to meet Zendaya after the match. What was that like? And is it weird just having to shift gears from you're playing a final and then 20 minutes later you're like doing
I already got used to all this post-match craziness. For sure, meeting Zendaya was crazy, but on the other hand, she's a human like all of us. So I was just happy that she's enjoying tennis, and she's having this movie with tennis theme coming out. So that should be pretty exciting. She can practice with me anytime if she wants, but for sure it was fun, and she's a really great person, so I feel pretty privileged that I'm in this place where I can meet that kind of people.
What is it like for you this time of year? You have one more tournament left until you can get back on the clay, which is a surface you've done pretty well on. Is there any translation from success on hard courts to the clay? Does it set it up in some way, or is it? And then as you get closer to that time of year, do you just get hungrier or feel relief, or what's the emotions?
I would say at earlier stages of my career and when I was a junior, I always felt, bigger kick of motivation and I'm in my place right now to play better. But now it doesn't really matter because I feel like I can play well also on hard courts. I would say I'm not really thinking much about clay yet, during the Miami tournament, because maybe my conditioning coach would think a little bit more because we're adding some exercises that are maybe gonna help with movements on clay and everything. But I'm not really thinking about that. I don't need to really overthink it because I don't need much time on clay to get used to this surface. So I'm just gonna start thinking about it when I'm gonna have my first practice on clay. But also, I think we have Fed Cup on hard courts, so I'm just gonna basically do the transition right before Stuttgart, which is gonna be tough, but I've done that years ago and it was fine.
You mentioned Caroline Wozniacki that you faced during the tournament. When she was number one, she kept being asked that if she felt like a real number one. Now, they don't ask you because of probably the kind of win that you can put together. I was just wondering, could you put into words what you think it is feeling like a number one?
I would say you just feel like your game is better than anyone out there. Obviously, it's not for granted that you're going to win because of that, but you feel like you have skills and you have everything to be able to present your best game. You don't because of that I don't expect like it's going to happen all the time, but I just know that it's somewhere there and I need to make the best work to put it out there.
Iga, can you talk a little bit about what it was like to go from 4-4, where it was kind of a really close match at that point, you had given up a 3-love lead, to just running through those last 8 games? Is there a point where you feel something on the other side of the net, or maybe you feel something within you that says that you can be able to roll through the match and not drop another game?
Well, it was pretty simple. I just knew what I wanted to improve. I had pretty clear idea of that. I just focused on that, and I kept focusing on it till the end. So I knew that I should have, made some decisions that let Maria come back to the game a little bit, and when I lost my lead. But honestly, there's no point of overanalyzing it, because still it's not like I've been broken. We still had 3-all, 4-all, so 4-all, yeah, 4-all. So I wasn't feeling like I lost control or something. I just knew what I wanted to improve, and I did that.
Okay, very last question, yeah, great.
Thank you. Iga, just getting back to the number one aspect, you got into that number one position unexpectedly at the time when it happened. Obviously, you're quite comfortable in that role as number one now, but it came out of the blue when Ash retired. How long did it take you to feel totally comfortable at being number one?
There are gonna be ups and downs still, so I don't expect I'm always gonna feel comfortable. There's pressure, so sometimes it hits harder, sometimes it doesn't hit at all. So I wouldn't say that at some point I felt comfortable and that's it. Now I'm gonna be comfortable till the rest of my career, so